Welcome to the Beard Me That Beer podcast. I'm David.
Say,
And welcome to episode... And wait for it. You are no longer 20 years old, Beard Me That Beer podcast. It is episode 30. Time to get dirty.
Dirty 30.
Let's fuck shit up.
In the most boring way possible.
In the most
casual,
responsible adult way possible. Because in your 30s, you're supposed to be an adult.
In a way befitting a 30-year-old.
Yeah, but I feel like I've been an adult for the last 5 years.
What?
I feel like I've been an adult for the last 5 years.
How old are you?
I am 29.
So you should have been an adult for over 10 years now.
No, that was just practice.
Practice adult?
Practice makes permanent.
Right. Thanks, high school.
Do you remember that?
I do. Why would I say that otherwise? That wouldn't make sense.
Are you having nightmares right now?
No. I'm awake.
I'm awake.
Daymare, David.
How could I have nightmares if I'm awake? All right. Shall we start? This is a continuation of our anime recommendations, part 2.
We had some realizations in the past week, more like hour or so.
I think we had a realization during that episode where we're like, fuck, we just only talked about 3 in like 50 minutes.
Well, for one, we meant to talk about more last week, but we were a little bit long-winded with what we were talking about. So
because we recommend them and we like them.
Too. But we did realize that, like, I guess we kind of more refined our definitions for like entry-level kind of anime.
I definitely turned the knob down for these next 3 because I think Evangelion blew it away a little bit too much. Chobits would be...
But you didn't
not
say
Chobits. Lucky Star would be a little bit for a niche market, but I think a lot of people enjoy it no matter what. But these next 3, I'm going to say, are a lot more enjoyable. They're watchable.
They're
more
a lot
watchable.
easier to just jump in on.
Yes.
Like, because a lot of anime in general, there's a lot of extra baggage that comes with any given series most of the time.
Just being prepared, even though we weren't prepared when we saw these animes to realize this was the anime. But most animes, like, they throw you right into it.
Yeah, but
first, the beer.
Let's get to it.
From El Segundo.
From where?
El Segundo.
Segundo.
What
does that mean? Second.
Second, yeah.
Like second, like on a clock, or like second, like if you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
They have the brewing company is an hour and 40 minutes away from us.
Is that the brewery?
It's in LA.
It's called an hour and 40 minutes.
No, it's an hour and 40 minutes away from us.
Oh,
Los
literally.
Angeles. It's right by the airport, the LAX. So yeah, and we have the Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA, and yes, in fact, this is Steve Austin from WWE.
Of WWE fame.
Broken Skull Indian Pale Ale, a badass 6.7% IPA designed by Steve Austin and El Segundo Brewing Company for the working man and woman. It features Citra, Cascade, and Chinook hops to deliver big flavor with an easy finish. Now stop reading and start enjoying this awesome beer. Cheers, because Steve Austin said so.
You added that last part.
Yeah, they should have said that.
So I see that word all the time. Chinook. What is Chinook? Is that a place?
It's a hop.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a hop. It's the name of a hop. It's like the name of a plant.
But why?
It's like asking why Citra is named Citra.
Yeah, why?
Someone named it that. Don't dig into it as deep as you think you
But
you
why
should.
did they name it that? Was it like
We should ask
this
the
is
bigger
a pleasant,
question. Why is math?
This is a pleasant assembly of consonants and vowels.
I'm going to say
rolling
this
off my
right
tongue.
now. This is not as strong as it looks. This is very easy to drink. I'm shocked. It has like a small bitter, but it's just Citra and really enjoyable. It's like after you're done working like 8 hours, like a hard day, and you go to the brewery and you just want like a beer that's a beer, just a solid beer. Here's your alcohol percentage wise, a little bit of bitter, and really refreshing on the palate.
All right, first impression of the smell.
Probably smells like water.
It definitely smells like beer. So
Yeah. I'm shocked how light and refreshing it tastes. it's not that heavy. It's a little tiny bit of bitter, but then it just rolls back like a calming wave in the ocean.
This feels like when you finished a long 9 to 5 and you were stuck in traffic for like 50 minutes when usually it takes like 30 minutes, and then like you're going home and you pull up to your driveway after having like pulled your mail out of the mailbox, and then you got like a couple bills that you weren't looking forward to, and then you walk through the front door, take your coat off, kick
Find
your
your
shoes
wife
off.
cheating on you.
I wasn't gonna say all that. I was like you want to just sit down with the drink, and you go to the TV and you can't find the remote for like 10 minutes, and then you sit down and then you finally crack into that beer, and you're just looking for some relief, and then you found it.
And this is not it.
Yeah, this is not it. This is just another disappointment for your day.
This beer is shockingly great.
No, it's good.
This is so good. Refreshing. A little bit of bitter. The bitter, every time you take a sip, the bitter gets a little longer, but really light and like soda, like when you drink soda and it's that hit of carbonation, but in a good way, in a refreshing alcoholic.
There's definitely a soda-like appeal to this drink. So,
well, good job, Mr. Steve Austin, and El Segundo, which one day I hope we will get to visit. Stay safe out there, LA. Take care of yourself. You'll survive COVID. But someone did recommend it to us about going to El Segundo next time we do a ruck.
well, I mean, like, I would be looking forward to it after
Can you use a coaster? Damn it.
this. No. I'm not going to sit on a coaster for 2 seconds just to bring it back to my lips.
Ask Isabel to come and tell you to use a coaster? Thank you.
I'll listen to Isabel.
Wipe that. Because this is her table. Not mine. If it was my table, I wouldn't care. But she does. Wipe
Out
it
of
all.
respect for Isabel.
Can you wipe it all, please?
Where's the all?
I see some right there. Just put your hand on the table and wipe back and forth a couple times. That would
COVID.
for Isabel.
I was like, out of respect for Isabel, I will do it.
Go that way. Back and forth. No,
Now you're
no diagonal. Back
Now
and
you're
forth.
being facetious.
Watch
I don't
me.
want to do that.
Watch me.
Watch me
Like you're
and do as I don't.
Rubbing your wood. Here, do this. Yeah.
No. I'm done. I'm not doing that. David.
Sam feels very uncomfortable around me. Even though moments before we started the podcast, he wanted me to get naked.
That is ad-libbed. We did not rehearse that. He just made that up.
That is what he said.
That is
This beer is really
fake.
good. I'm shocked how good it is. But I guess Steve Austin, he's a light beer drinker. So it would be a hard-hitting IPA, but light.
Well, I mean, if you're an athlete and you want to stay fit, light is probably the way to go, right?
I mean, but a 6.7, that's a lot of alcohol. I mean, if you're an athlete, you probably want to stick away from alcohol.
Yeah, but like if you like your alcohol, but you don't want to get heavy after, just like make it a little stronger.
I
You
feel
don't
like
have to drink as much.
seltzers are for.
What? Steve Austin don't drink no seltzer. Look at that guy.
What'd you say?
Said Steve Austin don't drink no seltzer.
He wouldn't, maybe. He's an older guy. I think he's trying to take it slow.
He would take out a dude for drinking a seltzer.
I hope he
Like,
would.
not to speak for the man, but like, I feel like he would.
But Steve Austin, because Steve Austin said so. Great beer.
Yeah, this is stone cold, a straight drink.
Yeah, I'm sure they couldn't call it that because WWE owns that. I'm sure they barely let
Just
Steve
misspell it.
Austin, yeah, or just put a stone and then an ice cube.
Yeah, visuals. We can do visuals.
But yeah, let's get into the anime recommendations part.
Duh. How do you spell that?
DEUX.
DUH.
DUH. DW.
Duh.
DWAO. Squiggly H. X.
DWAO squiggly. I'm not going to waste any more brain cells on that.
Sam's trying to figure it out.
It's like, how can we make this work?
So yeah, last week we started top 5 recommendations that quickly turned into 3, and then we're doing another 3 this week because
So we expanded from 5 to 6.
Yeah, 6 each. But 3 last week, 3 this week. What did I say? Lucky Star, Code Geass, and Evangelion. And Sam said Death Note, JoJo's Next Adventure.
Bizarre. There's a lot of people that would correct you.
Bizarre Adventure. I actually saw a part of that anime, but not enough to me to understand it. And My Friend Totoro.
My neighbor Totoro.
My friend Otoro.
Totoro.
Toto.
Totoro. I don't know. It's part of the song.
Okay.
It's catchy. It's a banger.
Totoro when he makes bangers.
Yeah, he does.
DJ Totoro in the house.
I was like,
DJ Blunt's in the house.
oh my gosh. All right, buddy. You want to kick it off or?
I can kick it off. I'm going to start with one that I feel like at the beginning of this, me and Sam were trying to not do the big names. Just because we wanted to stay, because people know them. They're like, even if you don't watch anime, you've heard of like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that stuff. But we really wanted to give the smaller...
Really wanted to highlight some smaller series.
The ones only anime fans would know. We wanted to give those a chance. But I really had a hard time picking some animes I would recommend to people. Because there's a difference between my favorite animes and animes I would recommend to people. Because I want people to enjoy it. I don't have the same taste, but I want generally the next three animes I feel are top tier for anyone to watch.
They're like top tier mass appeal kind of anime,
but they're still good.
Yeah,
like even
there's a reason why people like them.
They're so good. Yeah. And now this anime has multiple different versions, reincarnations.
So don't be intimidated up front.
Yeah, it's a long one, but they did make a shortened version of it that you can enjoy. This is Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
That's all I have to say. Honestly, it's one of... Growing up, I never got the chance to watch it as most people did because I was raised in a house of bullshit.
David.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I wasn't allowed to watch Dragon Ball Z because it had fighting in it.
Okay. All right. Well, hold on. Boil it down. What is Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball Z is a monkeys fight other monkeys and aliens, but these monkeys look like humans, but with tails.
I mean, I guess if you boil it down to like
David had said it
like bare details,
the worst way possible, but yes, that is true. So Dragon Ball Z is mostly an adventure about Goku, or Kakarot. Which is his real name from his alien planet. He is a Saiyan from...
He's an alien.
Yeah, from the planet Vegeta. Well, actually, do we know he was born on planet Vegeta? Or
he was.
Or on that spacecraft?
No, he was born on the planet and sent in a pod.
Yeah.
But so, that's more than we need right now.
This is an elite race of fighting warriors that are basically owned by another alien that you find out later, who controls them. But they are sent to planets to take over them. And luckily he lands on planet Earth. And in Dragon Ball, the first anime, he starts as a kid.
If you're going in cold turkey,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball is the technical starting point, but Dragon Ball Z is where things really pick up.
I think if you start in Dragon Ball Z, you're okay. And then you can watch Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I feel like a little bit of Dragon Ball is more for kids.
It's a different kind of show.
But it's still good.
It's
still really good. I think Dragon Ball Z is more relatable as adults.
I would say
even younger than us.
Original recipe Dragon Ball is like it's more lighthearted adventure, whereas Dragon Ball Z is more like straightforward action.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fighting. People can fly. There's ki. There's energy all around us that we can control. There's ki blasts, energy that can come out of our hands. And in Dragon Ball, you see like the growing adventure, but in Dragon Ball Z, you see the heart, like straight away. Earth is not. Earth is full of bad luck when it comes to people wanting to come to take over it, wanting to destroy it, or just wanting to kill Goku.
The major crux of the series is that the world is constantly in danger of exploding because of intergalactic threats, and the people around have to step up to save it.
Z Warriors.
Yeah.
Which is one time they used that. I think they were called the Z Warriors for a little bit, but then after...
I'm pretty sure that's just dub specific, but...
Yeah. Also, one of the really, really great animes that you can watch dub.
Which is, if you're coming in, just dry, like not an anime novice, like, and you're, kind of like waffling between subs and dubs, this is a good dub one to start with.
The actors are amazing in it.
Top notch.
Yeah, Vegeta, I think, sells it the best. Trunks, too. They're just they care about the craft a lot more in this show. That being said, it is a very popular show, so I can see the budget being a lot better. Mm-hmm. Hey, we want to make America love it just as much. Mm-hmm. Just like anything in the world, you put money into it, you'll probably get it out better. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z. It's the original Dragon Ball Z will frustrate you with how long it is, though.
For like over 250 plus episodes.
Yeah, well, that and the Namekian arc is like 50 episodes of powering up.
I'm sure there's like little cheat sheets out there that you could reference where it'll tell you like, oh, you could skip these episodes and you'll still get the main idea.
Watch it all, but you could also watch Kai, which is a shortened version of Dragon Ball Z,
which is a more recent version that's been
and
released.
What I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z being too long, in the first like 2 minutes it's a recap of the last episode, and the last 2 minutes is what's gonna happen next on Dragon Ball Z. So you really get 18 minutes of TV maybe, so it's not the longest show, and that's what frustrated me as a kid, because it would it was on Toonami. It would go, and then start all over because they didn't catch up. Mm-hmm. And there were so many episodes. But Kai, I would recommend that a lot. And just Google it, Dragon Ball Kai. It's just a certain version, and you can power through it very quickly. But Sam is correct. It's very long because there's, three, four major arcs, and they're not small stories. They are huge,
and that's not including the filler stuff. So,
which is filler stuff in between each arc. Yeah.
So if you're a non-anime person, filler just basically means if the series you're watching was adapted from basically a Japanese comic or manga. Sometimes they run concurrently, and at points the anime will catch up to the manga. So in order to give the writer or the comic time to make more, they will make original stories to kind of like pad out the time so that they can get back to the original stuff.
Movies, but for this, just Dragon Ball Z. That is a huge one. It's super relatable. Great dubs. English actors, voice actors did a great job on it. But that being said, the sub is arguably one of the best.
Like, it's definitely like
people stop in their tracks when those people speak. Mm-hmm. It's not people on the street. These people are legends in voice acting.
And one of the benefits of Dragon Ball Z anyway is, if you get in on it and you like it a lot, you have plenty of places to go after that, because that's a long-standing franchise.
It's a big tree with a lot of branches.
Yeah, you can go back, watch some original recipe Dragon Ball. You can watch GT, which isn't canon anymore, and maybe not quite as good, or Super.
And then there's also the super off canon called Heroes.
Which
takes
is
GT, Super, Dragon Ball Z, and put them all into one world.
Which it gets a bit confusing at that point. But point being, there's a lot of other stuff you could watch.
You can spend the next year watching Dragon Ball stuff.
Easy.
Yeah.
Just
even if
nonstop.
And that's if you're nonstop. Yeah. If you're watching on and off, you can be a good 2-3 years before you catch up.
And that's not counting movies and games.
Yeah, that's the best part. Yeah. Tons and tons of movies. Cool. Dragon Ball Z. Sorry, I had to bring that up. I know.
Don't be sorry, David.
It's just such a good show.
I was gonna say, just because we are up on the stuff. Like,
remember doing Kamehameha waves? At school.
You mean in the car ride over
when someone cut me off?
I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you tailgating me right now?
Destructo disc.
Key blast. Yeah. Just because we already know, and it's a little bit, old hat for us. Like, don't rob other people.
No, it's a good one. It's a really good one. Every part about it, it's just well produced.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, good. Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is a good one. Good job, buddy. All right, my turn. I will also mention an anime which I don't want to say is cliche at this point. I'll just say it's so mainstream. It's like it's an obvious pick. But again, just because we watch anime, like
they're obvious because they're for a reason.
They're obvious for a reason.
Good. There's a lot of episodes. There's
Yeah.
a good arc. There's a good story. It's a build up.
Yeah, and if you're coming in dry, like it's a good one to get under your belt. So yeah, so I was gonna say Full Metal Alchemist, but the second series, Brotherhood.
Now Sam knows this about me. I have never watched it.
You haven't watched Brotherhood?
I've told you this multiple times.
It's new, it's so new to me every time you say it because it's upsetting.
I have never watched an episode of Full Metal anything.
David, you got to get.
I saw
man.
the trailer for the movie. I think the live action, which is really bad.
The movie's really bad. The live action movie's really bad. The in universe movie isn't that bad.
Sam gave me a quick rundown. It's about alchemy.
It is about two brothers that give an arm and a leg to bring their mother back to life,
and it doesn't work out in the end.
That is
right.
If you'd seen the series, you would have punched me just now.
All I know is that one of them got turned into something, and then the other one didn't. One's a robot because of his stupidity, right?
No, it's more complicated. David, really?
I
forget
seen,
that you keep. Yeah, I forget every time we talk about it. I forget you tell me that you haven't watched it.
This is the thing about it. I don't want to watch the popular animes. I want to watch the unpopular animes.
This is what this podcast is
so,
for.
okay, Sam, you need to convince me to watch it.
Okay,
right here, now.
Let me give you the lowdown, like little summary, I guess. So it's set in
2000,
an alternate universe. So like our world, but a little bit different, obviously. So it follows two brothers named Edward and Alphonse. And Alphonse. Don't laugh at that. That is part of my name. Yeah.
I know, but it's not your name. It should be your name.
It is my name.
I thought it was Alfonso.
Yeah.
That's not Alphonse.
Mexican,
Alphonse and Alfonso are two separate things. Alfonso is fine.
Are you sure?
Yes. Alphonse.
Comment below.
Alonso with
Alonso.
No, it's Alonso and Alonso, and you're Alonso.
Alfonso.
You're Alfonso. That's fine, but Alphonse.
Thank you. Thank you for rating my name.
What's this motherfucker's name?
Alphonse.
Oh, okay. Is this a? Oh, wait, here's the thing. Sorry, I had to bring this up. Some animes have a lot of German influence. Is this one of them?
This is set in Germany.
Okay. How did I know that?
Yeah, I
already had the feeling of it.
It's alternate universe Germany, but it's not called Germany.
A lot of animes give a lot of German influence, and even they're straight from Germany.
Well, because I think it's German culture. It's one of those rich cultures with a lot of history. People think it's interesting.
Good and bad.
With black spots all over in some places, but
terrible blood stains.
That's not the point.
Yeah, because those statues got torn down.
Hey, that was one period of time. Don't judge everybody.
I don't judge. Oh, dude, I love Germans. Love their beer.
Everybody's got a history.
Yeah, America's the worst though.
It's current history.
With the last 4 years.
Anyway, so they're two brothers, Edward and Alphonse, and there's family tragedy. Mother passes away. They try and go about and find any means they can to bring her back, and then they stumble upon alchemy, which is basically like a form of magic in the world, but it runs on the idea of equivalent exchange. So to get something, you have to give something of equal value. And but even at that point,
you can change anything. You can change matter, or you can do whatever you want.
Basically, it's like if you boil it down, it's like really just like converting a thing to another thing.
Yeah.
But you don't always get what you want. It's like you'll get it's real complicated.
You'll
but
get
anyway,
an eighth of the size of what you wanted. You get a whole chicken, but you just get the wing. But the wing can talk to you, and now you're best friend.
It's complicated. I don't want to get into all that, but basically,
so far, I still don't want to.
They jump in on it, not fully understanding what they're doing, and they suffer another tragedy. One of them basically gets his body taken away, and his soul gets attached to a piece of armor, and the other one loses an arm and a leg, which he swaps for. In this universe, they have prosthetic limbs you can attach, but it's called automail.
And it's nervous system, so
it's like
it's like
pretty
not losing an arm and leg.
It's like they're really good pieces of
it's like iRobot shit,
but more steampunk. And yeah, so then like the rest of the series is just the two of them trying to figure out how to like fix
Isn't
themselves.
it like really long?
It's no. So
Am I thinking of that other one, that pirate one? Yeah, that's
One Piece.
That's really
One
long.
Piece I wouldn't
That
jump
one's
in
like
on.
600
That's dense.
episodes. Yeah.
But so the thing with Full Metal, there are at this point 2 anime series. There's the first series, which is Full Metal Alchemist, but it kind of ran into that same issue like we mentioned with Dragon Ball, where there's filler, which basically, encompasses the latter third of the series. So like this series finished up before the manga finished, so they changed the ending completely. Whereas the second series, the manga had finished, so they decided to go back and follow it more closely. And I think the second series is
Did it change the first ending?
So it's just like they're 2 separate things, but
Okay.
they're based off the same source material.
So
And I think the
is
second-
the second season completely different? It's a different universe.
It's not seasons. There's just series. They're different shows.
Okay, so it's like Tenchi Muyo. Hey, we're restarting.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It's like a reset.
And I can give all that credit. Whoever came up with that idea, hey, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's do a new show.
Yeah, they're
like
like-
that's brilliant, because then you can fuck it up even more, or
Yeah.
do it something that fans want, and then the fans get pissed at themselves
It's
for
like-
liking it.
We really enjoy this game of chess and we like all these pieces, but we didn't like how that game finished. So let's just reset and see what happens.
I really enjoy it when animes do that. So I might. I just don't feel like putting that effort into watching anime. I'm very choosy,
You are. But I'm just telling
but
you,
I'm
it's
very
worth
choosy
it.
to a point where I really all the anime I watch are pretty fucking good.
It's pretty good. There's a lot
I
of...
am gonna watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure though.
I implore you, everybody, I stand by what I said. It is
It's not
insane.
Not because I think the cover got me. On
The art is a little
IMDb.
hard to get into.
No. That's what I liked.
Oh, really?
It was like 80s action. It was like the cover art I saw. It was like it feels like Toy Soldier but 2D and just like hard edge art. So that's what I like.
I'll say one more thing about that series in particular. The art style morphs as it goes along. So it gets more
That's fine.
stylized.
That's fine with me.
But anyway, Full
Yeah.
Metal. I think it's like right around like the 50 episode mark, the second
That's not
series.
bad.
So it's not bad.
Are
It's
they
not,
half an hour?
Yeah, that's like
Okay.
the 20-ish minutes.
I can probably finish that
standard.
in 4 or 5 days.
And
yeah.
I guarantee you'll probably like it.
Eh,
It's mainstream for a reason.
yeah.
And it's another one. I think it's dubbed by the English dub, same people that did Dragon Ball.
Is
so
it-
a lot of
is it
familiar
worth
voices.
it
It's a
to
really
do
good dub.
Okay.
It's probably it's up there. I would say it's like top 3 to 5
Okay.
English dubs that I could think of.
Okay, Sam has convinced me, and I will watch.
It's really good, and the plot, it's like it's kind of similar setup as like Code Geass, where it's like World at War kind of thing, but there's like a more sinister, like
I feel like
underneath the thread kind of
Code
plot.
Geass was pretty sinister.
It's-
his dad was the upfront sinister, and then behind the plot sinister
So
too.
they have that kind of idea in common. They do it differently, but it's like there's like that air of just like mystery and espionage kind of thing going on.
Oh,
and there's a lot of
heisty,
action, and they
heisty.
handle action really well.
That's good. Okay.
Fights are interesting. And they definitely have like a toolbox that they pull from, so like powers and abilities and all that stuff. Like they spell it out for you pretty well, like what people are capable of, but they do interesting things with them.
Okay.
It's good.
Maybe
Maybe
that last part bored me a little.
maybe
bit.
convince David, but
You had me in the first 90%, but this last part, I was like toolbox powers. Ugh, boring. We'll see. Do they start with the origin story right away, or they just pop you in?
they pop you in.
Are there flashbacks to the origin story?
Yeah.
In the first episode.
Maybe like little bits here and there.
Okay.
No, it's like over the course you
If
kind
the
of learn.
action is good, I will give it a chance.
Just off the top of the head, I remember I think the first episode starts like
Hardcore
action
Okay.
right away.
And speaking of first episode starting with action, can I go to my next one?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, definitely try and jump in on Full Metal. Both series are good, but I just happen to really like Brotherhood a lot, so, that'd be mine.
And that's the cool part, that they're separate. They're just not even connected. So you could watch the other one without.
I'll say
watching.
like they are pretty similar up to about the halfway-ish point, and then they kind of split.
Okay.
But yeah, real good characters, good story. I like it a lot.
All right, my second one,
Go for it.
which is arguably a very old story.
But should I argue with you?
No, you shouldn't, because that's correct. It's a very old manga. It's been around for a long time. In
Do tell.
2012.
That's so old.
13 it got made. 14,
It's so old.
into an anime that is currently just finished its third season 2 years ago, and it came out with a trailer recently.
Did you say 2 years ago?
Yeah, it finished its third season 2 years ago.
Third season was not 2 years ago.
2018.
Was it really 2 years?
Yeah, it's 2020,
shit,
bro.
Holy shit! I thought that was last year.
No.
I thought it was like early last year.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, that 2018 might have been the start date, but it could have ended in 2019.
I was like, because that was a
I
long
know
run.
I saw the release date was 2018.
Anyway, go for it, David.
Attack on Titan.
Dun-dun.
I can argue right now one of the greatest intros of all time, and they went back to it too. Not the same intro, but the same starting. A lot of German influence too.
What is the show about?
Shitty explanation. A race of people has had their ups and downs, are now stranded on an island, but they don't know it. So
that's a lot of stuff
the
in between.
race part is like way in the end, stuck on an island they don't even know.
But even then, there's still.
But the people part is the first. So without the shitty, it's about people living within 3 walls. So there's a wall, a big wall on the outside, then there's some land, then there's an inner wall, and there's an even inner wall on that one where the royal family, important people. It's a lot about race and like where you are at.
Status, class.
Which is great because like even now that's just so relevant, and it's always going to be relevant. But the main character, Eren Yeager, it's so much German influence that I can't stand it. Like even the houses, everything, it's like Nazi Germany. Like,
well, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure the setting is just like analog Germany.
Well, we don't know that. We know they
don't spell it outright, but I think it's like that universe's version.
So, and they live behind these walls because there's you can say monsters that they call titans, and they look like people. They're giants. They look like people, but they've lost basically all their gender-specific parts
and intelligence.
Yeah, and the point of fact is they just eat people and kill people, and that's why these giant walls. These are like 50-meter tall wall. They're huge. They're just giant. So these little 10-meter giants can't really get there.
But they vary in size.
From 3 to 5, 10 to 15.
And at certain points,
but then
much bigger.
We see super action in like the second episode. The ending of the first episode, like this giant 100-meter titan breaks down the door, and an armored titan comes in, and they're like, "We've never seen these titans." And Eren Yeager's a kid at this point. And he watches his mom die, and this fuels him to become a scout. And the scouts use these 3D maneuver gear, which to me it's basically a jetpack that you can shoot hooks and balance yourself and turn yourself around.
It's a jetpack in the sense it's got a lot of mobility.
It's a jetpack in the sense that you only go straight because you're the one controlling it.
It is like the most primo version of like the Batman. What is it? The Bat Claw. It's a grappling hook.
It's basically a grappling. Okay, here's the controls. The grappling hooks. You have 2 grappling hooks, and that's for you to kind of lynch on and pull yourself. But then you have this 2 little jets that use gas,
propel you,
to push you.
Yeah.
So you can do the 3D. The hooks are to help you also do the 3D. It's crazy.
Impractical, I think.
Oh my god,
it's so cool.
The worst. It's like you could have just spent more money on building missiles that kill them.
It is just shy of building a giant robot, but it's like, but it's just so cool.
Yeah, the action is cool because they give you the sense of 3D in a 2D show, but in this anime there's spots where they actually do introduce 3D animation. It's right now it's 3 seasons, like I said before.
4 season on the way.
4 season is coming this year. The trailer dropped
not even that long ago.
A month, 2 months
Yeah.
ago, and people lost their shit because the most important part is they are true to the manga. They are following it. So people who have read the manga, it's like, I know how the show ends, but all the animation, the music, the
It's
acting,
an extra layer.
it's just so fucking encapsulating. It drags you into the show. So yeah, it got everything. It's got everyone's a little bitch in this show. Unfortunately, Aaron is like he is the most bipolar guy in the show. Fucking Armin, fucking everyone in this show has problems, and they show it, and that's why I think people like it a lot.
Yeah, but Aaron's like he's a human rage monster. He just carries hate.
Shinji, because Shinji barely does anything, and Aaron does stuff.
Yeah, he's very brash.
Yeah,
and
so
angry.
So Aaron then learns that he can turn into a Titan. So humans can turn into Titans, and then
Titan shifters.
Yeah, Titan shifters, and they can control these powers, and then be pulled back into changing back into a human.
It's basically just a flesh mech.
And here's the cool part about the show: we are learning these things as the characters learn these things. It's not like someone knew this and didn't tell anyone, even though that is true.
That is what happened. But the people, we're following.
We follow, and you always have the sense that there's a world bigger than what we're seeing. But at the end, it just hits you like Aaron's like, after this ocean, there's not freedom. There's enemies, and I'm going to kill all these enemies. Oh, it's so fucking. He can't fucking be happy.
No, whenever he reaches his goal, there's always a new thing.
And that's the thing I love about him the most. And it's fucking poisonous that he's never happy with what he gets, because he has someone that loves the shit out of him and will do. And I feel so bad for her, because I doubt they'll ever be together, because they won't give it to us. They just won't.
It doesn't strike me as a show that would do that.
Yeah, even at the end, even if I've read the manga a little bit, so I know currently what's happening, and it what he's doing for a reason is okay, but he definitely will never love her, especially because the creator said some stuff. But great show, just the music, like
one of the best. Yeah, that first opening, that's one of the best anime.
Germans fucking sing.
Yeah. That is. I kind of forgot that about that show.
Yeah, it's got heavy German influence, and it's Code Geass is one of those heavy German influences, and heavy European influence too.
European influence in general,
and Evangelion too. And I feel like I gravitate more about it, but I hate it just as much as loving it, because it's like, okay, you're doing it because people love it, but
it just seems
get over
cliche.
It. Yeah. At this point, 15 years later, it's a little much, but I get it. But everything about that show, just because it's so political too, and people are just so stupid, and then you're just like, God, we live in this world right now. It's so relevant to watch right now. You're like, oh, there's no monsters; they won't get us.
I mean, that's the
COVID is killing us right now.
I feel like that's like one of the only separating things between that show and real life. Is just like, although I wouldn't be surprised, it's just, this week, it was killer hornets or bees. Well, now we just got giant
7th level of
people.
Jumanji. Titans have attacked. Let's get those 3D maneuver. Anyways, I've talked too much about it, but it's even for it being so young as an anime it's. Yeah, I've seen it on the list, and it's arguably top 10 tier. And there's a lot of animes that have been a lot longer. That
for as long as it's been around, it's definitely had a huge impact.
It's sliced real quick up the charts, and for a good reason though. It's bloody, it's gory,
it's gruesome.
It's like what Game of Thrones was at the beginning. Because it didn't care who died.
Yeah.
People are dying left and right.
Yeah.
Man, main characters are fucking going through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty flexible with the cast on there. They'll just axe anybody. But it's good. It's good. It's a good
Attack
show.
on Titan, man.
Shingeki
The manga,
too,
really good too. And that's saying a lot for me, because I wouldn't care about reading mangas, but it was good read. David,
that was your number 2.
That was number two, my lord.
Number two, my friend. Okay. I didn't realize we're like 40 minutes into this thing.
We'll go over. It's fine.
All right, this will be the long one. All right. Let me go. All right, I'll go. I'll keep with another mainstream-ish one. Hesitant to recommend just because it's like a hallmark of the genre, but I will say Cowboy Bebop.
That's fine.
I'm
fine with that because
thank you, David.
I forget. I did my research about anime before these podcasts, and I was like, I just want to see what people think. And then one list, this was the number one rated anime of all time.
It is. I think it's like what 26 episodes in a movie, but it is tight. Like it is.
I think
story
people
and everything. Characters
a lot
are good
to the art of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not like any anime I have ever seen. Mm-hmm. It's definitely got its
there's
aspects of grunge, but not grungy.
I'll say it's very noir.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to say grungy because I thought it was a little dark, but noir is exactly without being noir.
Though. It's like kung fu noir ish, kind of a little bit.
A lot of it reminds me of like if Red Dead was Japanese.
If Japanese and in space.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's just like what and I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like I've watched it, it's fine, but I know why it's so popular among people.
I think it had a lot to do with, especially like the look of it, and especially when it came out, the timing. I think really helped a lot with that show.
It's not young.
It's
old.
it's been around. This is this was like primo, like Toonami block, at least in America. But
O's.
late or like mid to late 90s. This came out, but so Cowboy Bebop, it kind of just follows these. It kind of like follows the lives of like these bounty hunters, basically, but it's like in the future in space, and it just like follows them from like, I guess, port to port, mission to mission, bounty to bounty. But then like you kind of like come to learn a bit about their history and like each character and everything. But
and if you watch this, you'll be like, every space show on Netflix is trying to do what Cowboy Bebop did.
There's a lot of things that have come since that try to emulate.
And they just, like, what was that? Black Matter.
Matter.
I think that was it, Black Matter. It's just basically, these people wake up in their spaceship and they're like, well, who are we? And they try to figure out who they are. Mm-hmm. But it's like very piratey. Like they're pirates and they're trying to figure out and steal and survive. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said, like, Netflix or these other major, broadcasters, oh, we need a show just like this, and people go back to it, and they just can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, like we were saying, it kind of is a bit shades of, like, definitely noir, but and science fiction, obviously. But I feel like kind of westerny at points, too. So, the Red Dead thing, like you were saying.
It's like, it's very, the cowboy part is not because just the name. Mm-hmm. It's very noir is a very good word to describe it, but because I don't want to say western for some reason, I just can't describe it as western. But
it's definitely got like there's like a kind of like an old school detective-y kind of like
but it's
black
not
and
like,
whitey
but
kind of vibe.
Like if you say noir and detective, it's not that.
It's not that, but it's like in that
and
area.
The closest thing that I say is Batman because he's the ultimate detective, but it's not Batman either.
No, it's like
it's such a total like LA noir was such a brand new thing to us. This was such a abstract idea that no one thought until we got it.
But I don't know. It's really good. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be talking.
Yeah, right.
but the characters are awesome. Spike, like he's so there is a live action Netflix adaptation coming out sooner than later for this, and I'm not super hopeful, but like I don't know if like I always had like if there was like a dream like fan casting kind of thing, like I always thought that Spike would have been really good, made for a really good Keanu Reeves kind of thing.
I doubt that though.
Yeah, they wouldn't make it, but he's kind of like my real world plug-in.
Okay.
But he's so cool and suave, and he's like. And he does Jeet Kune Do, which is like the Bruce Lee martial arts. So I'm like, that's awesome. And But like, yeah, so he's the main dude, and he kind of like runs this crew of bounty hunters, and like you kind of come to find out he's got a dark history. He was involved in like a criminal syndicate, and there was a weird love triangle he had with a rival. And then
the more you talk about this and the more I remember, it's very much like what the Mandalorian is.
a little bit like in setup and premise, kind of
like
but
syndicate.
Yeah. But he's got like a tragic backstory. A lot of the characters do, like him, Faye. There's an awesome corgi in there, which is like one of the few animated corgi or just cute dogs I can think of. That's just like
we're always afraid of dogs in animes because
they'll kill them.
They
don't care. Dogs can die in anime, but this one doesn't.
Yeah,
and he's awesome. But it's a really good show.
That's a really good choice. I said when Sam told me he's going to use it, I was like, yeah, of course. Like, but I also said it's like, well, yeah, you have to. Mm-hmm. Almost as much as your last pick. I actually, when he said Full Metal, I was like, oh, I was like, really, you have to. Like, I was more, but Cowboy Bebop, I'm totally fine because it's like Evangelion, but not Evangelion. It just has this legend about it that people have fallen in love with it.
I was gonna say, I think especially for shows like this one and Evangelion, they have the benefit of like time has passed since, so it's like they were like really fresh at the time, and not to say that the quality's dipped at all, but like you could recommend them now, and like people could come in and it'd be like
people would think it's retro and cool.
Yeah, it's kind of got that appeal about it, which is like, and like animation is crisp. This is like the tail end of when like 2D was still like in its prime, and like people were shifting into the 3D realm.
60 pages per fucking millisecond.
It's like, it's beautiful, and action's really good, and it's kind of like they're all little self-contained stories for the most part. There's like little things that carry over throughout, which kind of like tie up by the end. But even then, it's kind of a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, and that's why
which is one of the things
Mandalorian about it. Like I was like, Mandalorian's the same. Like thinking about it right now, I was like, God, Mandalorian is Cowboy Bebop. There is no difference.
It's close. I'll give it that. It's close.
It is really close.
But yeah, Cowboy Bebop. It's a little older.
Good choice.
It's good though.
All right, my last one.
Go for
it. Next to Lucky Star, this is probably my softest choice, but I think I saved the best for last. When it comes to recommendations, though, when it comes to recommending an anime to someone who's never watched an anime.
All right, you've got me.
One, the dubs, totally usable. In fact, this anime was so good on the dubs that I have never even cared to listen to the subs.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot of praise.
So that's a lot of praise. One, Dragon Ball Z for the longest time was my greatest dub, but I then went to the sub and I was like, wow, the sub's way better. This anime, I don't even care.
Controversial.
I don't even want to hear the subs. All I want is the dubs for the rest of my life.
Stop teasing, man. What is it?
It has 2 seasons on. So this show is long ranging, like Dragon Ball Z. There's lots of arcs. The ones I'm going to talk about are technically the first ones, history wise. But the ones I saw first were the modern era on Toonami. But then they continued it on and made it 3D, and it was okay to watch, but I didn't care for it. I am talking about Zoids, Chaotic Century.
Okay.
Or New Century Zero. Doesn't matter.
Now,
that is one group for me.
I was gonna say, now, David has brought up Zoids in the past on our the nostalgia
TV show. I talked about Zoids. Yeah,
but it's good.
For me, it's the highest recommended anime of all time. And I talked about Sam about this. I think it's so human. It's about growth. It's about becoming that person you want to become, but you're afraid. It's very much what Avatar is now, because Avatar has a uprising right now. People are, and then Netflix just announced that they're going to do a live action.
Well, they've been working on it,
and I hope it doesn't. I want it to fail because it will never replace Avatar. But
beside the point.
Yeah, beside the point. That's what Zoids Chaotic Century and New Century Zero was to me. You start as Van Flyheit, the hero name, but he is not a hero in any sense of it. You know, he has everything. All the past about him is a hero. Like his dad died. He's living with his sister. Like, but he can't do anything right. He needs to learn. And then he meets Fiona. You know, and I don't want to say too much because I can totally spoil it in the first 5 minutes.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah. But for the premise, basically, is it's another mecha, but not in the human sense. It's not about human-shaped
They're not
mechas.
bipedal mechas.
Yeah, they're animals. They're beasts. So we have ligers and rexes, and they're dinosaurs. There's ancient dinosaurs and saber tooths that roam these lands that are mechas, but you can control them. But they have a sense of a soul because the pilot talks
they have
to
some
them.
independence. Yeah.
Van has he has Zeke, who gives him an unfair advantage because Zeke is a little droid that can fuse with his Zoid and make it more powerful and faster, and just the connections is a lot clearer between pilot and beast. But we're in the middle of a war. Like, people are killing people. And that's why I thought and it's not like it's a slow buildup. Straight into it. People attack his village. People are like killing people. And his dad dies in the war, and but then we find our Raven, our bad guy, who isn't really a bad guy, but he just hates Zoids and just uses them. But then he has to learn that no, that's not the real thing. Zoids are our friends. And then the bad guy gets an upgrade, and then he uses it still to destroy people and all your hoes. But my favorite part about the separate from it's years between the first and second series, and Van is an adult, a full-on man. He's so short in the show though, but he's just all about Liger, his Blade Liger, and he goes from Shield Liger to Blade Liger. They upgrade, and Zeke and Fiona, Erwin. It's a great show. It's about it's really about the human connection. It's about who you want to be and not who you're supposed to be. Because Van wasn't supposed to be this hero, but he wanted to be, and not. He didn't have to help Fiona. They could have just taken her away, but he did. He didn't have to help Zeke, but he did. And he's like taking hits for Zeke and Fiona. So yeah, it's cool battles though. Really cool battles with the Genosaur and the Death Saur and the Death Stinger. Just really long arc for the first 2 seasons, but there is a modern take on it. But it's the older ones. Chaotic Century Zero and New Century Zero were my favorite.
Now, I think Dave is a little more up on it than I am, but I am familiar, and I did like what I had seen, especially of the first series. I think I seen more of was it the chaotic? So with the one with Van, where he's
a young kid. Yeah, that's the first season.
That's so I'd seen. I wouldn't say a majority, but I'd seen bits and pieces here and there, and I definitely liked a lot of it.
25 episodes each one, so it's not short, and they don't do that like, hey, we're gonna recap.
No, they just go straight.
They go straight into a new chapter. It's basically a chapter, which is great. You get a new story. There's a lot of politics in it because right away you're like, oh, the Empire's evil, but then you're like, oh, the Empire's evil because of one person. Everyone else isn't evil. Every citizen of the Empire isn't evil. And then in the second series, we go more. It's hard to say. It's like we don't actually know if
it's a little more gray.
Yeah, because are people aliens? Did they come from somewhere else? Like our planet was destroyed, so we landed here, or is this our planet?
So it's a little more mysterious up front.
It's mysterious and alienish, but without being aliens. Like, yeah, Fiona is a character. Because she starts very like, what's going on? And just does stupid stuff. And then later on, she's like, Prime, like totally smart, just like figures out situations, tells Van to shut the fuck up or like do what she says. But then Van's like a hero. He becomes a hero in season 2 right away. And that's the cool part. It's not until season 1 you had to watch him grow. He's a kid. But season 2, he then is like a full-on warrior.
Well, cool. Nice to see the characters you like grow.
Yeah, and there's a giant jump between season 1 and 2, and I think
It's like
that's
a time skip.
I think that's the most important part about an anime. We don't have to see everything as much as we want to, but we don't. If the story doesn't need it, go just flash 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. Which is what I'm waiting for Attack on Titan. Apparently, it's a jump.
It's season 4.
It's a
that
jump.
will be.
It's a jump.
From what I've read,
We know people die for some reason.
But Zoids.
Big
recommend
Chaotic
from
Century,
David.
New Century Zero. They made 3D versions of it, but
Well, even the classic ones, it was like they kind of dabbled in 3D animation a little bit, especially for
the modern one with Blitz. That was a little more 3D, but the Chaotic Century wasn't very 3D. I mean, the Genosaur at some points
they kind of dabbled
3D.
with like
the Death Stinger, the Death Sword, the bigger Zoids were a little 3D, but it's just lots of cool battles, and I feel like it was like Beast Warriors mixed with the Gundam.
You mean Beast Wars?
Beast Warriors. Was it Beast Wars?
Beast Wars is the
3D
Transformers
one?
3D,
The 3D one? Okay.
Which has not aged well,
Yeah,
but
it looks terrible.
I get what you mean.
It's too dark.
Have you watched it recently?
It's like purple.
It looks it has aged about as well as Reboot has, if you know what I
Reboot is
mean.
amazing. Everyone should watch it.
This is all an aside. Don't pay attention to any of this.
Watch it.
Zoids is good.
Zoids is amazing.
Big recommend from David.
I think normal people would like it. It's like Avatar. If you liked Avatar, you would like this.
It has that appeal. Hero's
It's
journey.
about people. It's not about. I mean, even the Zoids are people. Like in Code Geass in Gundam, it's not the mechas are cool.
Yeah.
But it's about the people. In this story, the mechas are people. They have souls. They care.
They have personality.
Yeah, they hurt. All right, finish it off, Sam.
Okay. All right. Well, let me slow things right the fuck down. With okay, so this one I'm only gonna recommend if you've. I'm assuming at this point you'll have seen a couple shows, so I would still consider it an entry level, but like you should be at least a little bit familiar with just the medium in general before you jump in on it. Because this one is it's slow paced. It's not an action anime per se.
Is this Pokemon?
No.
Oh.
I would never.
Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
No. But it's more of like a romance kind of thing, which is probably weird coming from somebody that looks like me.
Oh, it's not Chobits, is it?
No.
Okay.
What?
Sam gave me shit about putting Chobits on my list.
No,
and
I was just being.
He was
an
surprised that I had watched it.
yeah, that's true. But recommend what you want, man. I don't care.
I'm not
But my next one is Spice and Wolf, which is a little. I'd seen for the first time a little more recently. It kind of came out. It came out the year I graduated.
2009.
Technically, but the manga's been out for a while. But I guess if I had to give a real shitty description, it would be, and don't judge me when I actually get into the description. But so it's like let me see. A wolf god manipulates a traveling merchant through the power of pedophilia. Now, hear me out.
So, I just want to bring this in right now. I was going to pick Chobits because it's a good anime, but I was like, oh, it probably wouldn't age well right now because it's really about robots that are slaves, but there's robots specifically built to have sex, and that's it. And I told Sam, I was like, oh, it probably hasn't aged well. I won't even. He's like, oh yeah, that's probably true. And then he brings this shit up.
Okay, I only say that just because obviously I think it's funny, but there's more meat on here than one would assume just by looking. And
I'm going to say this right here, right now. Animes are not for the people who think the world is perfect.
It's not. Anime rarely is ever politically correct. You should.
Politically correct. It's raw.
It's raw. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no filters. I mean, I wanted to say, what was it? That new one that came out recently where the armor is like a bikini.
Oh, Kill la Kill.
Yeah, I wanted to say that one, but I was like, that's just not that good. But it was good because the action and it was humorous. But I didn't want to say it because it was
the stuff,
fan service.
Yeah, and fan service obviously.
We said in the last episode, but it cleavage and
it's
showing
the
skin.
racier elements which apply to more.
But Kill la Kill was a great story. It just like
the stuff
great action
around the fan service was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is it's kind of the deal with this one. So like I that was a real bad description, but basically
it was really bad.
It's a slower show, but like it really reels you in cuz the leads are just like I don't know, something about that pairing, like the two of them together, it makes you really warm inside. And like I'm not one to like really like go in and just share like feelings and stuff, but I don't know. I really like how that show makes me feel just watching it, like the way they like go about, doing stuff together and just stuff like that. But there's more appeal than just that. So basically it's like what's the dude's name? So like I said, the guy what is the guy's name? It is it's been a minute since I've seen this. But basically, he's a traveling merchant, and his whole deal is it's like rural, like think like 14, 15, 1600s. Like he's a traveling merchant. He's going around. He's trading goods. He's trying to make a name for himself because his end goal is he wants to settle down and like open a shop, and which sounds boring outright, but
I am turned off.
It's
my boner went away.
I don't necessarily say that this is a show for David, but so he stops in one village one day and they're celebrating like it's like a local harvesting festival where they have this arrangement like it's like an urban legend where it's like, oh yeah, we have this local god that we will praise and they will bless our harvest and then that's how we reap all of our money and stuff, all the benefits of a good harvest. Yeah. So like so over time they've kind of taken for granted the fact that they had this arrangement, which turns out was a real thing, and the god they're talking about, whose name is Holo, and she's like this giant magnificent wolf who can also shapeshift into, which is why I said what I said earlier, but she basically turns into like she takes on the look of like a younger like teenage girl. Which she's not a teenage girl, obviously. She's like thousands of years old. But basically there's like all kind of stuff that happens, and these two kind of end up together, and they have this arrangement where she will use like her knowledge because she's so old and like kind of like help him with his traveling merchant dealings and whatnot if he will take her to her homeland. And she's kind of like, they're bound together because there's like a really goofy like caveat for her where like she has to carry a piece of grain with her to the piece of land that she's bound to, which is where like the harvest and everything was, in order to like continue like holding her form and traveling. Otherwise, if it goes away, it's like she can die or go back. So it's high stakes for her. Yeah. But there's like, that's basically the premise, but like it's really weirdly educational because like like I don't know about for everybody else, but like we had like for like our economic stuff, we had like I didn't really learn like straight economics or anything like per se, but it was always like history or government or something like that. But there's like they really teach you a lot of like how basic like trade and everything works. So there's like a lot of like weird principle stuff that they apply, which like they basically coach you through like, okay, so here's how like you currency is like you can trade it from like different regions and like how they convert and all this stuff and like what goods are priced for and all this kind of stuff. And it's like it's oddly fascinating. Like I've like it really reels you in, but on top of that it's like you have this weird romantic dynamic between the two. So yeah.
I've never heard of this and I've never seen it.
It's really good. and it's got a banger opening.
Okay.
Which is like
Openings are the most important thing about
they
anime.
really pull you in.
Yeah.
And
one, because you want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Two, it's like, whoa, if they can do this, what is happening in the show?
But yeah, it's slower, just as interesting. And if you're looking for the feels, this is a good one for that.
Feels.
Yeah, it's very romantic-y vibes because they're very flirty with each other too. But it's good. I really like it a lot. And if if you're like a sap or like a hopeless romantic, jump in. It's good.
Not bad. I definitely will probably check out Full Metal Alchemist, but this one sounds like I could get stuck into it really quickly. Wolf and Spice?
Spice and Wolf.
Spice and Wolf. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds more interesting to me. It sounds like Chobits, but German.
It is. It's not German. It definitely feels European. Yeah, I didn't mention that up front.
That's the thing with animes, dude. I don't know what it's about. Europe and Germany that fascinate them, but yeah.
I'm a little sad with how it ends. There's only 2 seasons, and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and they never picked it back up. But the manga continues on, and there's more stuff.
Don't worry, Netflix will pick it up. Or
I don't know.
Someone's gonna pick it up.
It doesn't feel like one of those ones. This might be a one and done kind of thing.
All about the content.
But I really like it.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'll check out both. I really don't want to check out Full Metal just to piss you off every time I tell you that. It bothers you so much.
It's fine. We got it in print now.
But it bothers you so much.
It does bother me, but I'm sure there's stuff about me not having watched certain things that
nothing bothers me. So let's go through it.
Let's recap.
Death Note.
I
think Code Geass.
Code Geass. I said My Neighbor Totoro.
And then I said Evangelion Neon Genesis.
And then I said JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
And then I said Lucky Star. And then I went first.
Then you went first this time.
And I said, oh God, I already forgot.
You got it.
And I said Zoids. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z. And then I said Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's the second
series but closer to the source material.
What?
Closer to the manga.
Okay, but the first series
is also good.
But it's separate.
You don't have to watch one to understand the other.
I'm beard dizzy. Sorry. What did I say on the second one? I said Zoids, but I think I said Attack on Titan. Which was mind-blowingly good.
Mind-blowing for David. I also agree it's good. And then I said... What did I say? Cowboy Bebop.
He gives me shit about forgetting.
I said
I don't have notes, and he's fucking, I'm going to look down. I didn't forget it.
I had Cowboy Bebop.
And then I had Zoids.
And then Spice and Wolf.
Zoids, Chaotic Century, or New Century Zero.
So you really slipped into Sneaky too. So good for you.
It's 2 separate seasons for sure, but
with different titles.
They're different titles because
show.
It's the same arc for me because it's still the same characters. It's not like how can I explain it?
Quickly. Explain it quickly.
It's not like Degrassi, the first 10 years, and then the next 4 years.
It's like the next generation.
No, and the next generation was the 10 years. They called it just Degrassi. That was the newer version. I love Degrassi. God bless Canada for that show. Goddamn. Good series. Good series, buddy. Lots of good anime.
Yeah. I would not be... I mean, we'll definitely talk about anime at some point, but I feel like this was fun recommending stuff.
20 episodes on each anime we talked about, at least. And that's like hardcore diving into morality itself.
Like getting into actual specifics.
But we could do an episode each of the animes we talked. But we won't because that's a lot. But we will talk about anime in general.
But
later
who knows?
on.
There's time. We'll figure stuff out.
We're only 30.
Oh no. For now.
Dirty.
All right. Well, cool. Keep drinking, keep listening. Beard Me That Beer is a San Diego-based craft beer YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and podcast show.
And for more of us, check out beardmethatbeer.com. That's beardmethatbeer.com. If you want to reach out directly to us, email us at bmtbinfo@gmail.com. That's bmtbinfo@gmail.com.